Thank you for coming to another tutorial of Canvas and Pages. I'm going to start by adding a screen size canvas. I have chosen this blue-green for the background of my droplets, and I'm going to go ahead and drag it to my canvas. Now I am going back to the layer icon, and I'm going to add a new layer. And I'm going to use this layer to add some texture to my background. Now for the texture, I'm going to click on my material brushes and then find black wood. I chose this because I want a wood texture behind the water droplets. Then go back to your color icon and choose a darker version of the color you already have on the canvas. The size of the texture doesn't really matter. I just want to be able to use the Liquify tool to be able to achieve a magnifying effect under the water droplets. And so now it's time to add a new layer for the water droplets. Now go back in the color tool and choose the same shade you chose for the texture. Draw as many circles or ovals or different shape of water droplets as you want. I will go ahead and make about 8 for myself. And I think that's more than enough to show my technique to draw realistic water droplets. Go ahead and drag the same color inside the droplets as I'm doing right now. So once you are done dragging the color into the shapes you just made, go ahead and click on the eraser tool and make sure you select airbrush inside the eraser tool and then soft brush. The opacity should be about 60% down, and what I'm doing now is making my bubbles clear around the middle section so that we can see through them. Now make sure you're not putting too much pressure on the pencil for this part because you want a smooth transition between the border and the clear part of the droplet. And while I finish this part, it's time to decide where the light source is going to be coming from, because that will decide where my shadows and lights are going to be. I decided that my light will be high above the bubbles but coming from the top right corner. Since the droplets are clear, the light will show through, and also each droplet will cast a shadow on the surface. For this part, I will use the selecting tool from the icons on the top left corner. You can keep the selection tool in automatic, and what this is doing is allowing me to paint the shadows only where you see the color blue right now. As you can see, the droplets are being protected from anything I paint while this is activated. Now go to your color tool and select the color that will show the reflection of the light through the droplets. And again, make sure you have your airbrush selected and soft brush. Try to control the pressure on the pencil, however, remember that you can always decrease the opacity. While the selecting tool is still activated, go back to the color tool and select the color that will show the shadows being casted over the surface. Once this part is done, you can go ahead and deactivate the selecting tool by tapping again on the icon. And now it's time to add the lights and the shadows effects over the actual droplets. Make sure to keep your soft brush from the airbrushes section. I'm gonna go ahead and decrease the size of my brush so that I can add a little light sparkle on each droplet. Now go back to your shadow color and we are going to paint the part that is not reflecting the light. Now it's time to make use of the Liquify tool to add a magnifying effect to the texture under the droplets, just like real water will do. First, make sure your texture layer is selected. Then come to the selection tool, but now you will use freehand. Now go around the border of the droplet, then tap on the magic wand and select Liquify. Then make sure it's on expand. Now I am going to tap in the middle of the water droplet, and as you can see, the texture underneath is expanding just like in a real water droplet. So now I'm going to repeat the same process on each droplet. So remember, first selecting tool, make sure it's on freeform, go around the droplet's border, just make sure you stay within the borders, then tap on the magic wand, select Liquify, and select expand. Now tap inside each droplet until you have the desired effect. Now that I am done with the light reflections, I will go back to the airbrush eraser that I used at the beginning and soften the top of each droplet. I am doing this to make them look more realistic and to create a clear effect on the water droplet. And this is pretty much done. I'm just retouching the stronger part of the light reflection. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and your support means a lot to me. Please support my channel by subscribing, and don't forget to like and share this video. See you next time.